"You're not even a real doctor," my uncle posted. 3 hours later, Mom's calls flooded my phone. But I had already moved on. It started with the flights. I spent a small fortune, $14,000 to be exact, to fly them business class. Mom's back was always a problem, and Dad deserved comfort. I didn't argue, I just paid. I even printed their fancy itineraries and tucked them into gift envelopes. "Your flight leaves on the 4th, I told them. "Graduation is on the 6th. Dinner's on me afterward. Don't be late." "They're calling my name early." Mom clapped. Dad nodded. My sister, Chloe, asked if her boyfriend could come. I said yes. They never boarded the plane. 3 hours before their flight, Chloe texted, "We're not going to make it. Something came up. Love you." That was it. My graduation day became a blur of scanning the crowd, searching for their faces. The reserved row remained empty. I forced smiles for the cameras, shook hands, got my diploma, and posed for the group photo alone. Later, I checked social media. The truth hit me. Mom, Dad, and Chloe stood before a white chapel on a cliff. Turquoise water stretched behind them like a postcard. The caption read, "Dreams come true in Santorini. Family time is the best time." No mention of me, no apology, just champagne flutes, sun hats, and comments from relatives. So deserved. "Greece looks good on you, girl." Then Uncle Mark chimed in, "He's not a real doctor." That comment broke me. Not the missed flight, not the money, not the empty seat. Those 5 words. I'd paid for everything, and they treated me like an option. So I did something unexpected. I sent them a high-resolution scan of my diploma. Right underneath, I attached a copy of the flight invoice, labeled paid in full. Then I turned off my phone. 3 hours later, Mom's calls were relentless. But I was already moving on. I didn't block her, not yet. I wanted to hear what she'd really say. The first voicemail dripped with fake tears. "Sweetheart, we didn't think you'd mind. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you've always been so independent." The second was sharper. "You're being dramatic. You don't understand how stressful things have been lately." By the third, the act dropped. "You didn't even go to a real med school. It was some online program, right? Don't pretend this is Harvard." That's when I blocked her, Chloe, and Dad. But I wasn't done listening. I went back to the social media post. Uncle Mark's comment, "You're not a real doctor," had racked up 37 likes. I recognized the names: Aunt Susan, Cousin Leo, even my godfather, who once gave me a stethoscope for my 12th birthday. The card read, "For our future Dr. Julian." I stared. I started saving screenshots. Not out of spite, but strategy. 2 days later, my cousin, Maya, messaged me. She was the only one with empathy. "Hey, I don't agree with what they did." "Mom told everyone you canceled the graduation. Said it wasn't happening. I only found out when you posted the pics. So now I was the villain." I asked her one thing. Did they really say that? Maya didn't reply with words. She sent a screenshot of the family group chat. "Mom. Well, Julian made it clear we weren't invited. Said it would be awkward. He'd rather celebrate with his Errol friends. Dad, let him sulk. Greece is better than another lecture about his doctor stuff. Chloe, LOL. He's probably diagnosing himself with abandonment issues." I stared until my vision blurred. Then, I opened a folder on my laptop labeled Family Receipts. I added the screenshot. ICE of admission approximately 5,900 characters. Here's what they conveniently forgot. I'd paid for everything. In December alone, I sent my parents $2,500. They said it was for the heating bill. 2 days later, Chloe posted a story from a ski resort spa. "Self-care matters. Shag grateful. Last spring, I covered the down payment for Dad's new car. He said the dealership was giving him trouble. He forgot I had access to the joint account. The charge was processed at a Rolex store. The breaking point was when I paid for Chloe's emergency dental surgery. She was in pain, couldn't chew, begged for my help. I wired $1,800 within the hour. 2 weeks later, she posted a selfie from Mykonos, bright smiles and white wine. So I started collecting evidence. Every bank transfer, every Venmo memo, every thank you text that turned into a guilt trip days later. Every time they cried poor, then bragged online. I kept thinking, maybe I'm the crazy one. Then I found something that killed that thought forever. It was an accident. I was cleaning out my old laptop, the one I used during rotations, and found a backup file labeled Grad 2024. I expected old flashcards. Instead, I found audio recordings. I'd recorded some calls with my parents while studying, not on purpose. I used a call recorder app and sometimes forgot to turn it off. One file stood out. It was dated March 3rd, the day I bought their graduation tickets. I hit play. My voice. So, I've sent you the confirmation email. You should see the flight to Boston on the 4th. Hotels booked under my name. Mom's voice, sweetie, that's a lot. Are you sure you want to spend that much? Dad's voice. Let the boy do it. He's got doctor money now, right? Laughter, Chloe's voice. Well, if he's really a doctor. Not like one of those Zoom degrees. Laughter then, the worst part. Dad again, he thinks we'll show up and clap like seals. He doesn't realize he's just our retirement plan. The audio ended there. I sat, completely still. Then, I added the file to the folder. I named it notarealdoctor.m3. That night, I made a plan. Not revenge. Revelation. If they wanted to treat me like a bank in a lab coat, it was time for them to deal with the consequences. And I hadn't even sent the final invoice yet. Graduation dinner was supposed to be a celebration. Instead, it became an ambush. I'd made the reservation weeks in advance. Private room, good lighting, custom menu. I even prepaid the deposit to ensure no last-minute excuses. They didn't know I'd still booked it. They definitely had no idea who else I'd invited. I walked in first. Pressed shirt, black suit, calm face. The kind of calm that comes before the storm. The restaurant manager led me to the room. Then came the others. First, Mom in pearls and perfume, walking like the queen of denial. Then Dad, faking a limp for sympathy. Chloe trailed behind, too busy on her phone to notice the extra place settings. They didn't see the projector yet. They didn't ask. We sat. Mom opened the performance. We're so proud of you, sweetie. Sorry we couldn't be there for the ceremony, but Greece was once in a lifetime. Dad added, we raised a doctor, even if Facebook doesn't understand that. He smirked. Chloe snorted into her wine. Then the door opened again. Uncle Mark walked in. You know, you're not a real doctor. He looked confused. I thought this was family only, I said, smiling. Exactly. Then I stood. I want to thank you all for coming, I said, clicking the remote. The screen behind me lit up. First slide, this is what family looks like when you're at the ATM. I let the silence breathe. Chloe blinked. Mom reached for her water. Dad stared at the screen like it was a threat. Next slide, screenshots. Every transfer. Every just until Friday. Every guilt text. Every fake emergency. Every Venmo request labeled emergency, please. Then, audio. I hit play. Dad's voice. He doesn't realize he's just our retirement plan. Chloe's voice. Well, if he's really a doctor, not like one of those Zoom degrees. Mom's voice. He always was too sensitive. He'll pay. He always pays. The room was silent. Chloe looked like she was about to vomit. Mom's hand trembled as she reached for her clutch. Then came the final video. I'd clipped together their Santorini posts, layered over my empty graduation row. At the end, a copy of the plane tickets, $14,026.32, paid in full. Passenger names, all three of them. Destination, nowhere. I looked at Uncle Mark. You said I wasn't a real doctor. Care to revise that now? He turned red. It was just a joke, kid. Funny, I said. Didn't feel like a joke when it got 37 likes. Then I turned to the rest. You all pretended I was family only when it was convenient. You wanted a bank, not a brother, not a son. I pulled out a folder. Inside, copies of the tax returns I'd filed for them, credit statements I'd paid, a notarized letter transferring the house deed back to me. The house Chloe lived in. I bought it 3 years ago under my name. They'd just been pretending it was theirs. Chloe's voice cracked. You said it was a gift. I looked her dead in the eyes. And you treated it like garbage. So now it's not. Mom tried to stand. Sweetheart, we didn't mean that. But I was already speaking. I've filed to evict you. You'll get the letter by Monday. You'll also find your accounts frozen. The ones connected to my name. The car lease canceled. The shared credit card terminated. The utilities updated. You'll need a new billing address. Dad slammed his fist on the table. "You're ruining this family." "No," I said. "You ruined it when you chose Greece over me." That's when the final guest entered. Professor Ramirez, my mentor from med school. He'd driven 2 hours to be there. He walked up to the table, shook my hand, and turned to my family. I was there when he pulled his first night shift. When he stayed up 3 days straight for his boards. He saved a life before most of you finished breakfast. I watched him become a doctor while you treated him like a wallet. He paused, then added, "Looking at you, I wouldn't say you raised a doctor. You abandoned one." Then he walked out. I stood, closed the laptop, and tucked the projector remote into my coat pocket. "This dinner's paid for. That's my last gift to you." Then I walked out, not in anger, not in tears, but in power. I didn't hear from them for 48 hours. No calls, no texts, just a deep, eerie silence. But on the third day, it exploded. Mom went first, the queen of curated chaos. She posted a 6-paragraph Facebook status with a black and white photo of me from high school. He used to be such a kind boy. We raised him with love, but money changes people. It blinds them. My heart breaks for our broken family. 400 likes, 36 comments, crying face emojis. Distant relatives asking what happened, others chiming in. Kids these days are so selfish. Then came the text from Chloe. Just one line, "You'll regret this." Funny how people think you'll flinch after you've already burned the bridge behind you. The eviction notice landed on their doorstep Monday morning, as promised. Signed, sealed, official. Chloe posted a crying selfie an hour later with a vague caption. "Some people destroy everything just to feel powerful. But karma remembers." I didn't comment. I just smiled, because karma was already unpacking her bags. That same afternoon, the hospital board I'd recently joined released their quarterly highlights. My name was there, Dr. Julian Wells, MD, Resident Liaison, Patient Safety Task Force. The post blew up. Professional congratulations. Messages from med school peers. Even my old high school biology teacher commented, "You always had it in you." Proud of you, Doc. The best part? My family was tagged in the original post. Publicly. By accident or design, who knows? But now, their timeline was flooded with praise. People they lied to now praising the very not a real doctor they'd humiliated. Then came the invoice. Not just the symbolic one I emailed after graduation. I mean the real one. I hired a lawyer. He calculated, down to the cent, the money I'd given them in the past 4 years. Loans, gifts, emergencies, unpaid credit cards. It totaled $62,387.19. I attached it to an official demand letter. Not for repayment. I didn't want a dime, but for closure. The message was simple. This is what it cost me to be your family. You won't get another cent. Chloe posted a story 5 minutes after it arrived. Imagine keeping receipts for love. I replied, for the first and last time, imagine selling love like it's an Airbnb rental in Santorini. She blocked me, but it didn't end there. The story began to spread. Not because I told it, but because they couldn't stop spinning it. They told neighbors I'd turned into a monster, that I was unstable, that the doctor thing went to my head. So I responded, not with rage, with evidence. I created a private blog, just one post titled "The Price of Family and Autopsy." I laid it all out. The fake emergencies, the graduation betrayal, screenshots, audio, bank transfers, even the picture of them on the Santorini cliff, smiling like they hadn't missed the biggest moment of my life. I didn't name them, didn't insult them. I simply told the truth. I ended it with this. If this makes me heartless, so be it. If setting boundaries is betrayal, so be it. If being used and finally saying enough makes me the villain, then I hope I make a great one. I didn't post it publicly, but someone did. It got shared. Suddenly, people were messaging me. Strangers, classmates, even reporters. A podcast invited me to talk about toxic family dynamics. A wellness blog reposted my story under the headline, "When Saying No is the Bravest Thing a Doctor Can Do." Then, a local paper reached out for an interview. Headline, "From Abandoned Graduate to Medical Advocate, One Doctor's Story." And guess what? They printed it, front page, with a picture of me holding my degree, standing beside an empty row of reserved chairs. The photo went viral. 3 days later, I got a call from Dad. Blocked number. I answered out of curiosity. He didn't say hello. Just, you made your point. Happy now? I didn't respond. He kept going. Your mother's not eating. Chloe's a mess. You humiliated us. Then, the real reason, people at the golf club are asking questions. There it was. Not guilt, not love, reputation. So I ended the call with a single sentence. Don't worry, Dad. You'll always have Santorini. Then I hung up. A week later, I moved. Not just to a new apartment, to a new life. I bought a townhouse under a different name. No forwarding address, new phone number. But before I disappeared for good, I left one last thing in their mailbox. A framed copy of my degree. Below it, a sticky note, real doctor, real done. I never looked back. 6 months later, I changed my name. Not legally, not on paper, but everywhere else that mattered. New phone plan, new email, new delivery address, all tied to a new alias. To the people who mattered, I was Dr. Julian Wells. To the rest, I was nobody. And it was perfect. The townhouse I bought was quiet. 2 stories, hardwood floors, a Japanese maple in the backyard that turned blood red in October. The kind of peace you don't appreciate until you've spent 29 years drowning in obligation. I didn't decorate much. Minimalist, clean. No family portraits, no nostalgia. Just framed degrees, medical textbooks, and a coffee maker I loved more than half my bloodline. My days became sacred. Wake up, run 5 miles, work. Patients healing people who said, thank you. Then come home. Silence, peace. No calls begging for money. No texts saying, can we just talk? No threats hidden behind emojis. No guilt packages and holiday cards. Just me. Alive. Untouched. But the past has a funny way of knocking, even when you've slammed the door shut. It was a Tuesday when the email came. Anonymous sender. Subject line, you might want to see this. Attached, a screenshot of a GoFundMe page created by Chloe. Title, Help Our Family Heal from the Past. The photo was an old one. All of us at a barbecue, back when I was still naive enough to think they loved me for me. The description said I'd abandoned them, that I used money as a weapon, that I'd hacked into family accounts and left them homeless. They were asking for $50,000. I checked the donations. $12,647 already raised. Dozens of comments. So sorry you're going through this. Sending prayers. Money doesn't make you better, sweetie. And one from Uncle Mark, always knew he had issues. Keep your head up. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just poured coffee, sat down, and logged into an old folder labeled Truth Folder. Inside, the full audio of Dad laughing about using me. The screenshot of Chloe's spa trip, dated 2 days after the dental emergency. The receipts for every gift that turned out to be a lie. And the voicemail from Mom, the one where she said, honestly, we just thought you'd keep paying. That's what family does. I uploaded everything, created a site. Simple black background. No flashy design. Title, since you wanted the story, here's the full one. Then I added a note at the top. This is not revenge. This is reality. I am not fundraising. I am not begging. I am not hiding. I'm just done. I posted the link in one place only, under Chloe's GoFundMe, as a $1 donation message. The doctor's still not real, Enjoy the receipts. By noon, the GoFundMe was locked. By 3:00 p.m., the page was deleted. By 6:00, Chloe's Instagram had gone private. And at 9:00 p.m. sharp, my phone buzzed. New number, local code, probably a burner. I picked up silence. Then, why are you doing this to us? My mother. Same voice, different tone. Thin, weak, desperate. I sipped my coffee. Let her speak. You already left. Why can't you just forget? Let it go? I finally spoke. You made me the villain, so now I'm giving you the ending you wrote. She started crying. We didn't think you'd really leave. Well, I said, doctors perform amputations. Sometimes the only way to survive is to cut off what's infected. And I hung up. For the last time. It's been a year now. The house they lost is renovated. rented to a family of 5 who actually values things. Sometimes I drive by it just for the poetry. They put a blue mailbox out front. The kind my mother always said looked cheap. It fits the place better now. As for me, I built something better, a new foundation. Not just a career, a legacy. I launched a medical podcast. Named it Real Doctor, Real Life. The tagline, because some stories don't come with applause. The first episode, I sent them the degree and the invoice. It hit 1 million plays in 3 days. I donated the first $14,000 in ad revenue to a scholarship fund. Named it after my grandfather, the only person who never asked for anything in return. The scholarship's strict requirement? No applications from family members. Last week, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside, a birthday card. Cheap, glossy, the kind from a gas station. The message inside said, "We miss you, Em." I smiled, walked outside, lit the card on fire, watched it burn in the steel dish on my patio, flame licking the edges like it was hungry for closure. Then I walked back inside, closed the sliding door, and changed the story too. For my sister's cat's birthday, they did not attend my baby shower. According to Mom, it's also her first child. I responded, duly noticed. She attempted to charge $2,500 to my cart the next day. I blocked them all and froze everything. Mom broke down. My sister pleaded with me. Then I did it. "Jenna, you're exaggerating." As if she had just concluded a world peace negotiation, my mother murmured, putting down the phone. "This is only a baby shower. We'll compensate you." Slowly, I said. "My baby shower, my first child, your very first grandchild," she said. "And it's Emily's first too. A cat isn't technically a child." "Emily!" My sister gasped from the other side of the room and put her palm to her breast as if I had just insulted a monarch. "You dare! You are aware of my deep affection for Whisker." I ought to have hung up. Next, I ought to have been more aware. However, a part of me continued to think I could reach them, that they would see the absurdity of this. It planned a great birthday celebration. The same day as my baby shower, Emily's Persian cat received hats, cake, a personalized mojito, and mocktails. I had emailed out the date 3 months prior. What's the worst? Everybody went. Each and every one of them. Even Carol, who formerly claimed to be allergic to phony people and fur. My mom, my cousins, and Uncle Jeff. She shared a group photo of Whisker wearing tiaras that matched. The caption commemorates the first birthday of our young family member. Newborns are unique. I was seated in a small cafe with 3 friends and half-eaten Costco cake, acting as though I wasn't waiting for anybody else to arrive. But there was no mention of me, my pregnancy, or anything else. I received a notice on my phone the next morning. They had refused my card. A $2,500 charge attempt for a Meow and Me pet photography package was visible on the bill when I examined it. Can you guess who attempted to pass it? Yes, Mom. She sounded irritated when I phoned her. You always promise to assist with family matters. I'm not purchasing a yacht, exactly. I claimed that I wouldn't contribute to a cat's modeling career. You do have that lovely baby bonus, don't you? She lost her temper. You're not exactly impoverished. I ended the call and blocked all of their accounts. Passwords were changed. Give my bank a call. Blocked every one of them. My mother phoned 12 times that evening. My sister sent me an SMS. You're being unkind. Whisker took no action. She was also correct. Whisker took no action. However, I did. Furthermore, they would never have anticipated it. Know what's crazy? The excellent one was me. The responsible sister, the helper, and the fixer. The person who made the deposit payment after Dad's credit was rejected. The person who gave Mom a $1,200 loan for what ended up being Botox for her dental work. The person who, after Emily said her car broke down last Christmas, sent her $600, subsequently learning that it was for a tattoo of a tiara with whiskers. I have nothing compared to that cat. I still showed up, though. Every birthday, every emergency, every holiday. I was family, correct? Until I became pregnant. Then I was selfish all of a sudden. Covert. It seems unfair that Emily was not included. There will be more soon. It seems that being an aunt had always been her dream. She just refused to attend the baby shower. I'll give you an example. Emily gives me this video 2 weeks before to the celebration. Walking over a table adorned with pastel balloons, Whisker is wearing a little pink tutu. The caption is "Eager for beards. A big day. April 6th will go down in history." I gazed at my screen as though it were in a foreign language. April 6th. My shower. I sent her an SMS. "My baby shower is on that day, don't you know?" She responded, completely disoriented, with 3 laughing emojis and oops. However, Jen, it's Whisker's first birthday. It only occurs once. I awaited the humorous moment. It never materialized. I gave my mother a call. She let out a sigh. "Don't cause drama, Jenna, my dear. Emily is currently dealing with a lot. How is her cat's birthday related to that? Putting this ahead of my baby shower." Then she let it fall. The Whiskers. And her first child. I realized then that I was the only one in here. I did not, however, call off the shower. I hired a modest space and transferred it. I completed everything on my own. Re-invited everyone. Out of 47 invites, reminders were sent. There were 6 persons present. The woman from work was one of them. I hardly spoke to him. The others? All of them attended the cat's celebration. Since they publicized everything, I am aware of this. An image of my aunt blowing out a candle on a cake that said 1 year of perfection was captured on camera. My cousins, all dressed in t-shirts and cat clothes, are getting shots with Emily. My grandmother was even present, sporting cat ears and a wine glass. They didn't give my baby any presents. Not a card, not even a message. However, Whisker. The hue of Whisker turned into a Swarovski crystal. Take a moment to process that. Emily blew out when I froze the card. "Mom, did you embarrass her?" She sent an SMS. That reservation was what we were counting on. For Whisker's birthday, it came as a surprise. You know what? The highlight of the occasion was the Meow and Me photo shoot. She continued by writing, "Your hormones are making you unreasonable, and you're bitter because nobody showed up to your boring party. Lastly, you should apologize to us." She was blocked by me. A phony account left a comment on my pregnancy announcement a few hours later. "It would be wise for you to sort out your priorities before having a child." Who do you think misspelled priorities? Emily. She shared an image of a close-up of Whisker curled on her lap with text overlay on social media a week later. Cats always know who loves them, but some people don't deserve family. My credit score then declined. Someone attempted to open a shop card using my identity, my parents' home address, and the mailing address. Careless, but sufficient to force me to examine each account. That's when I noticed it. Weekly withdrawals were planned from my emergency savings account, which I had opened the month I discovered I was pregnant and was connected to a PayPal account called Grace Underwood Mom. More than $1,800 had already been spent. I recalled the day she checked Pinterest recipes on my laptop. She would have done it herself. I froze the account, marked everything, and took screenshots. After that, I shared a tale of my own with a description that included a picture of my baby's sonogram. This child will grow up understanding that love is free of restrictions, costs, and matching tiaras. Mom came crying at my door that night. Emily hadn't eaten that, she said. Her mental health was suffering as a result of the financial strain, that the family had been shattered by the turmoil during the baby shower. She gave me a printed invoice with an envelope inside. Emily requested refund for $4,127 and $0.65 for the cake decorations at the cat party venue rental. Mom said she deserved something. The celebration was lovely. She can sell Whiskers after that. Diamond collar, I said. I led her to the door after giving her the envelope. She turned and laid it at the entrance. Jenna, you don't get to provide a family an update. I gave her a direct look. Then, I suppose, I was never truly involved. Dad left a voicemail the next morning. Your mother is being harmed by you. You're already becoming chilled because of this baby. Watch who you become. A photo of Whiskers in a baby stroller was shared by Emily. Caption: The only baby that counts is still this one. That was it. They assumed I would collapse, weep, and then crawl back. What I had was unknown to them. Not only screen grabs. In addition to the paper trail, I also recalled the contents of a hard drive I hadn't touched in years, audio, messages, and emails. They anticipated my silence. They were unaware that I was going to turn up the volume all the way. For what was going to happen, the restaurant was too pleasant. There are white tables, jazz music, waiters wearing ironed clothes, and water glasses being refilled as if nothing could go wrong. They believed it to be a peace discussion. I let their mother choose the location. She wanted it neutral, according to a French eatery in Midtown, declared her want to hear. The secluded rear room was reserved for me, claimed to desire room. When the reality hit, I didn't mention that I wanted walls to reverberate. They arrived 10 minutes after the hour. Mom wearing false pearls and a white sweater. Like a man who still believed he was in charge of the room, Dad buffed up. Emily is acting quite dramatic. Even though it was gloomy, she wore oversized sunglasses indoors and had that phony, innocent expression on her face, as if she were going to cry at any moment. Nobody gave me a hug. Nobody inquired about the baby or offered congratulations. They took a seat as if we were paying a bill. I waited. Allow the quiet to become awkward. Then Mom opened. I just wanted to let you know that things went out of control, Jenna. This was never what we wanted. However, you've been unkind. Dad gave a nod, excluding your own relatives. You're not that. Like she was in a movie, Emily took a drink of her wine. This has been disastrous. I cocked my head. You mean like taking $2,500 worth of whisker content out of my card without asking? That sort of destruction? Emily blinked. I've already said I'm sorry. No, I answered bluntly. You didn't. They caught you. Mom got right in. We are not here to repeat errors. We are here to move forward. I took out my phone and gave it 2 taps. Place it on the table. Just 1 beep. Her voice filled the room as a speaker came on. Emily, Jenna would go crazy if she realized how simple it was to take money out of her bank. She's too preoccupied with nesting to notice, though. The room went cold. Her voice was that, unambiguous, cocky, sharp. Emily's complexion turned white. She responded, I was venting. That wasn't taken into account. Background, I inquired. Here's some further background. Emily, I tapped once more. She will bring up another damaged person and hope for praise. She sobbed because hardly one turned up for her baby event, saying things like, Sorry you're not popular, girl. The clatter of Mom's fork gazed at his hands. Emily appeared to be about to throw up. I bent over. Emily accused me of lying once more, but I had no intention of playing this game. She parted her lips. I extended a hand. You haven't spoken yet, no? Yes, I do. I took out the hard drive from inside my purse. Place it on the table as a last demonstration. Do you realize this? Bewildered. Emily blinked. That's mine, she muttered. Where did you go? My flat is where you left it. Do you recall your days of collapse following the trip to Vegas? Your laptop was full, you claimed. I looked at my parents. Do you recall her saying she was afraid of me after I threatened her and broke into her laptop? Slowly, they nodded. Look at this. I took out a little remote control and pressed play on the wall. The screen sprang to life. I reserved a projector-equipped room. A folder slid open. Family Gin _ phony screen grabs. I sent Emily a series of Photoshop texts with fictitious threats, one after the other, clearly spliced and altered audio samples. She distorted her voice recordings to make me appear hostile. The leaps were audible. How to make Jenna look irrational if she turns on me is the title of the memo. Emily bent over. My privacy is being violated by you. Really? I arched an eyebrow. Do you wish to discuss privacy? Once more, I clicked. A fresh tab. PayPal invoices. $1847 and $0.22. Taken out of my shared food account. Emily. It doesn't appear that way. I tap again. Emily sent her buddy Lexi an email. Jenna won't even be aware until May that Whisker's birthday is going to cause her financial ruin. Quiet. Then my father got up. That's sufficient. So did I. Oh, we have only just begun. I looked at my mother. You attempted to defend everything. Claimed that Emily was experiencing a lot. I would like to know what she was going through when she purchased a new iPad for herself using my credit. Or when she referred to me as irrational for being pregnant on my own. Mom cast her gaze downward. Nothing to say. Now Emily was standing too. You're crazy. It's absurd of you to bring us down. Love isn't that. I gazed at her. I'm not attempting to undermine anyone. I'm attempting to prevent you from clambering over me in order to remain afloat. He entered after I gave the door a nod. Trevor, Emily's former partner, whom she portrayed as dangerous, vanished after committing an unnameable terrible act. He appeared composed, chilly, holding a folder. Emily stepped back. Why is he in this place? Trevor avoided eye contact with her. My dad received the folder I gave him inside his statement. Screenshots from his bank. Emily's messages threatened to destroy his career if he broke up with her. The restraining order in copy form. He filed, but she never notified anybody. Slowly, Dad flipped the page. Mom took a quick look behind him. Emily was trembling. It's a setup. She let out a scream. This is harassment. At last, Trevor turned to face her. I injured you. You told your relatives. You said I was unsteady at work. You tagged my infant photos in your post. Hashtag the antagonist she created. I remained silent, but no more. She started crying, actual ones. Or perhaps not. With her, who knows? The hush was finally broken by Mom. This isn't possible. I looked over at her. You were continually saying that Emily needed to be protected. You never inquired as to who she needed protection from, so perhaps you were correct. I then turned to face Dad. I cut you off once, and you stated I was freezing. Slowly, he nodded. Just be aware of this. You're lying the next time you claim to have 2 girls. Sliding the hard drive back into my backpack, I scooped it up. Emily broke down in tears. We're being destroyed by you. No, I said. That's what you did. I just switched on the lights. I looked across at Trevor. I appreciate you coming. He gave one nod and walked away. I took one final look at my parents. Say hello to the feline. As I made my way to the door, I said, Emily, there will be plenty of time for you to connect. After that, I departed, and I wasn't followed this time. They believed I was finished. The big finale appeared to be the projector, the X, and the audio bombs in the restaurant. No, it wasn't. That was only the first act, because I was acquainted with them. After going into hiding, they reorganize and start something fresh. Make it louder. Act like the victim. Turn everything upside down. So I took the first step. I recorded a video that weekend. Not really dramatic. Don't weep. Don't shout. In my living room, alone myself. Illumination that is neutral, quiet voice. Behind me is the ultrasound picture in a frame. My sister's cat's birthday was celebrated a few months ago, so my family skipped my baby shower, and it was only the start. I guided the audience through it. The PayPal trail, the spliced audio, the Photoshop threats, the stolen money, Emily's ex-boyfriend's folder, everything. Just facts, no names, no faces, only screenshots, no retaliation, only proof. This video isn't for sympathy, I concluded. It serves as a warning, because when they are destroying you, some people will call it love. And when you stop allowing them, they'll think you've changed. I clicked upload. It received 320,000 views in under 48 hours. It crossed after a week. Remark after remark rushed in. My mother treated me the same way. I appreciate you speaking up. Skipped your cat-themed baby shower. There is no family here. It's a cult. Put yourself in the tag. My name is Whisker. Then the texts arrived. Content producers, therapists, and journalists are requesting collapse. The DMs as well. A lot of direct messages. People are pleading with me to share their own terrifying experiences. I launched a channel. No more favored daughters. Initially, a white hoodie was released. Plain black letters. The first newborns are important, even those of humans. Within 4 hours, it was sold out. At that point, my mother reappeared. Her Facebook status was 4 paragraphs long. When a lifetime of love is destroyed by a single lie, it is really painful. My daughter is very emotional and pregnant. Say a prayer for us. I didn't respond. Then Emily shared a TikTok of herself clutching Whisker in a dark room with a weeping filter. Some sisters are pregnant. Some people are angry. She was burned alive by the remarks. I received a stop and desist letter prepared in Word the next day. I was charged of emotional defamation and reputation harm without a lawyer's signature. I captioned that post. It seems that it is now against the law to say the truth. Who could have known? The remarks were hilarious, emotional defamation. Get a lawyer, tell Whisker. In the event that you are sued, you will crowdfund. Within 36 hours, the video received 1 million views. I received 2 invites to podcasts. After 14 years of being that emergency contact, but never the invite, I was able to depart thanks to a brand deal with a pregnancy skincare business and a handwritten message from a woman in Florida who published your tale. I'm leaving. Thank you. That one brought me to tears. I was constructing a new residence in the meanwhile. Real hardwood floors, 2 bedrooms, sunlight, and a public baby registry. Gifts were sent by thousands of strangers. Your baby deserves a village, read one letter, because your relatives failed to appear. Yes, we did. What's the best part? Do you recall the savings account? Did Emily attempt to drain? I converted it into a scholarship fund for expectant mothers who are unmarried, beginning again. $1847 was the first gift in $0.22, the precise quantity that she took. I gave it the subtitle Whisker Fund, because the first babies are important, Mom noticed. How can I tell? Because the subject line of the email she sent me was from a burner account. You've overreached yourselves. The message simply said, what happened to forgiveness and privacy? I didn't respond. Then Emily also sent one. All I felt was pain. I uttered those things for that reason. You are missed by Whisker, I answered. The only person I may forgive is Good. I then blocked her once more. A woman from the local paper contacted me 2 days later. She mentioned that they were working on a piece on contemporary estrangement after watching the film. I wanted to share my tale. I inquired about the headline. When blood is in the family and the internet is? She remarked. Yes, I replied. A week later, the piece was published. Whose picture did they use? Emily is clutching Whisker while wearing a tiara. Posted to the public. Fair usage. Mom referred to it as libel. My father threatened legal action. I captioned the story with a screenshot. That litigation is still pending. Meanwhile, tomorrow we'll bring an update on the baby bump. First infants do matter. They couldn't stop it now, so I grinned. The tale was initiated by them. I just got it done. Tuesday was the day I gave birth. Quiet space, pure air, not a drama. I was held by my dearest buddy. I didn't cry till the nurse did, plus the moment they placed him on my chest. My son. Excellent. Out loud. Alive. I let go of everything that wasn't related to Emily or my mother, or Murmur in his little crown. I reflected on how wonderful it was to know nothing about everyone in that room. Leo is his name. Not after anybody. Not because of a forced custom, a history, or a family name, only because it had a powerful feeling. Fierce. Mine. I kept it a secret from my family, not even when I returned home. Not after I captioned a picture of Leo's little fingers around mine. He's here, and we're safe. In a single day, that post received 200,000 likes. Messages were sent by strangers from 5 continents. A blanket with little lions was knitted for him. A children's book titled, When the Village Finds You was provided by another. It wasn't until the 3rd night that I broke down. It was silent, not because I was overwhelmed. And I became aware that I knew no one for the first time in my life. An explanation. Mom made an attempt to return. She voice noted it. No, well done. No, how are you? Just, I pray you never forget that blood is blood, regardless of what you say. You'll be sorry you didn't let us in. I didn't respond. I simply sent it on to the newspaper woman. They have a follow-up item in the works. Distant grandparents. The other viewpoint. I thought they could benefit from some new content. The card then appeared. A real envelope without a return address. Grandma should be taped to it. Whisker in a huge cousin bandana in a picture. In fact, I burst out laughing. I then added it to Leo's Clown Moments memory box. My phone buzzed a voicemail with no number the next week. It was my father. Look, I don't give a damn about your opinion, but I'll be here if the baby ever wants to know his granddad. Just make sure he knows who helped build this family, he continued. Grinning, I launched my banking app and snapped a screen grab of every withdrawal I had made for them over the previous 5 years. Every monthly emergency, every Venmo, every expense. I included it in the caption of my tale. Absolutely not. He will know exactly who constructed what, so don't worry. I then took one final action. I did more than simply alter my number. I produced a little card with my updated contact details on it. Forward it to the select few who were important. There is a slogan beneath the number. There is no longer any service for this number. Similar to me. I placed a little frame in Leo's crib to commemorate his 1-month milestone. It says nothing about love, family, or anything like that on Pinterest. You were desired, it reads. You were selected. You will never be fuel for the fire that gave birth to you. I took one more action. In order to relay the narrative, I even purchased a domain. People stayed on it after discovering it. My video, a message, an application for a single mother's allowance. Additionally, a section named Pet Parties does not take the place of people. Additionally, there is a caption for a picture of Whisker wearing a tiara at the bottom. A few egos were hurt, but no cats were hurt in the process of creating this redemption arc. I have lost my anger. I'm not resentful. I'm tidy. They can no longer frame me, train me, or give me names. They receive nothing. No invitations, no updates, and no access. Instead of a child, they went for a cat. Therefore, the first opted for serenity over performance. And you know what? Last night, Leo slept through the entire night. I also did. Story 3, and the toast on my cousin's engagement. Happy to be a part of this, I said. You weren't, my aunt said. You were added at the last minute. That's what my sister said. As always, try not to spoil it. I softly grinned, took my $5,000 present, and canceled the venue's card. The lights went out 20 minutes later. My phone burst with 130 missed calls as the music ended. You weren't. You were added at the last minute. My aunt said it as if she were making a weather-related remark, informal and contemptuous. As in, I didn't spend $5,000 on this engagement party present. She gazed straight through me while wiping her champagne glass against her spouse, past me as though only mentioning me directly would somehow taint the night. I gave her a gentle grin. The rhythm was not missed by my sister. Leaning just enough to whisper it where only I could hear, she murmured, half smiling. Try not to ruin it like you always do. There was a refined and gentle laughing throughout the room. Chandeliers and flute glasses, warm candlelight on expensive gowns, catered food, and white tablecloths. Everyone's falsehoods were prepared, their smiles were polished, and their knives were always pointed at the weakest member of the family. Apparently, I was that connection. Danielle, my cousin, was standing in the middle, looking radiant in a white engagement dress that seemed to cost more than my rent each month. With a whiskey in hand and his arm around her waist, her fiancé, Darren, was holding court. It had the ideal appearance, resembling an advertisement in a magazine for 20-somethings who had never had to work in retail. I had always received kindness from Danielle in that refined, surface-level manner. Several thanks. We should occasionally catch up. She never spoke of it again after taking out the loan. I came prepared to rejoice since this entire evening was meant to be for her. Yes, I did. I'm happy to be involved with this. I had raised my glass for the toast. I spoke without trembling. Not even in that case. Now, however, as if I wasn't paying attention, I stood there grinning as if I hadn't just been verbally thrown down a cliff during a party. The black hole of their selective memory is filled with years of silent sacrifices. I moved away from the circle a step at a time. No one followed. The photographer had them too busy posing, too busy using Instagram stories to tag the hashtag family first. I wasn't too preoccupied with acting like I was never in the picture and constantly on the fringe. At that point, I took action. I bent down, grabbed the elegantly wrapped present, the one with the designer ribbon, and the receipt proving it was more expensive than their whole dinner service, and turned to go. No words, no scene, a single quiet motion. I took my phone out, canceled the credit card that was still linked to the venue, and stepped out the side exit into the chilly air. My uncle's was inexplicably marked, so I put down the one I had requested as a favor. After 20 minutes, the lights went out, the music stopped, and my phone blazed like a burning Christmas tree. 130 calls were not returned. The actual celebration began at that point. My mother was the first to call me. My dear, I believe the card has been mishandled. Before she could complete her statement, I hung up. She didn't return the call. Others, however, did. Quick. Venue coordinator Danielle's fiancé. Mark, my cousin, only texts me when he needs a quick fix to keep me going. Uncle Theo, who made jokes that were proper for dinner and drank whiskey like it was a sport, was the sole significant contributor to the celebration. The texts were first unclear. Then, in terror, they turned. Next came the accusation. "What's wrong with you? Someone's future is being ruined by you. You've been erratic all along." Oh, I was erratic now. A classic move. They failed to remember who initially covered the venue's costs. They couldn't remember whose name was on the bill. They lost track of how precisely I had been incorporated into their activities. As a function, not as a family. I had receipts too. Literal ones. An hour later, I received an email from the venue. The payment was unsuccessful. "If you don't have a valid card, the event will be canceled." I didn't respond. Rather, the first opened my laptop and found a folder called Family Charade, which contained 5 years' worth of bank transfers, screenshots from Venmo, and WhatsApp messages pleading with them for assistance always from them. Emma's dental procedure cost $1,500 because her insurance did not pay for it. After a poor investment, Dad received $3,200.500 every month for the previous 12 months, directly to my aunt. Until her disability check is cleared. Indeed, even Danielle's ring. She borrowed money from me to purchase it. The stone is familiar to me. I was never reimbursed. Nobody ever expressed gratitude. However, they never failed to ask me to meet the requirements, never the images. The speeches are never given. What's the worst? I gave them permission. I played the obedient cousin for years, the unseen support system for their perfect family image. I paid deposits, purchased flights, reserved venues, assisted with party planning, and arranged fights. Even worse, I erred by giving my own sister Emma access to my emergency credit card. A year ago that was. I discovered a $9,000 charge at a Napa Valley spa 2 months later. A retreat for girls to reflect and heal. She sobbed when I confronted her, claimed to be depressed, said she needed it, and said I was a monster if I took it away. I decided to overlook it. She's the same one who told me tonight, "Try not to ruin it like you always do." Funny, I never remember ruining anything, just paying for it. But that wasn't the final blow that came the next morning. Someone had posted about me on Facebook, a group photo from the engagement party. Danielle, Darren there, smiling friends and beaming relatives with a caption from Aunt Sandra. "Thank you to everyone who helped make last night possible." True family shows up. No mention of me, no tag, but buried in the comments. "Emma, good thing we handled everything ourselves. Can't rely on chaos." Therefore, that guy just feeds off drama. And Sandra, last-minute guests always ruin the vibe. They were talking about me, no ambiguity, but they hadn't expected what came next. Because I'd been waiting, gathering, archiving. See, Emma once borrowed my laptop, forgot to log out of her email. I didn't snoop. Not at first. But 2 weeks later, I got an alert that someone had tried to use my PayPal. Her name was in the autofill, so I checked. And when I found a draft email, never sent, probably forgotten. Subject line, backup plan if he freaks out. Inside was a full breakdown of the party budget venue, $17,000 paid by me. Cake, flowers, music, all contingent on my card. And this line at the bottom, written by my own sister. If he acts weird or tries to back out, we'll say he insisted on paying. Confirm it like a surprise. No one will blame us. The date 3 weeks before the event. That was their insurance policy. In case I ever grew a spine, I did. And now I had proof. But I didn't post it, not yet. I wanted them to feel safe for now. Then I found the audio very deep in a WhatsApp chat. Back up on an old phone I used to lend Emma a recording labeled, "He's losing it. 619 missed calls." I didn't answer. I was already editing the footage. The engagement brunch was rescheduled for the next Saturday. Same venue. New card, different vibe, no one invited me. I invited myself, I didn't sneak in. I RSVP directly to the coordinator. Still had admin access. Still had to say I walked in 15 minutes before the toast. Black blazer come face flash 0007 12 14 0007 34 07 unknown dangerous. Unhinged. A liability so they could take my money. Use my name and still look like victims. This wasn't just betrayal, it was premeditated. That night I sent an email. One line, no topic. "You might want to chat to your daughter before the video gets public." I couldn't. Sandra, Uncle Phil, and Daniel. Then I waited. 20 minutes later, 19 missed calls. I didn't answer. I was already processing the footage. The engagement breakfast was postponed until the next Saturday. Same venue, new car, different vibe. No one invited me. I extended an invitation to myself. I didn't enter covertly. I sent the coordinator a straight RSVP administrator access was still available. I still had to mention that I arrived 15 minutes before to the toast. In my pocket is a black Blazer.com face flash drive. One objective. They froze when they saw me, as if I were a ghost entering my own funeral. Sandra blinked twice as if she was attempting to mentally erase me from the room after Emma truly spilled her champagne. Danielle seemed anxious. Darren seemed perplexed. Excellent. The organizer came up to me and courteously inquired as to if I had something to drop off. No, I'm here to add something to the playlist, I responded with a smile. She nodded after hesitating. The screen behind Danielle flashed to life 10 minutes later, just as she was raising her glass for the toast. Can the family provide us with a brief video? I asked aloud. Everyone pivoted. At first, there was no sound in the video, only screenshots. Venmo, Zelle, memoranda such as Danielle's venue deposit and Emma's dentist are transferred to my bank app. This is $500. $2,000 there. $1,200 more. Just marked save us. Coughs replaced the laughter in the room. On porcelain plates, forks remained still. The audio clip followed. Voices you recognize. Emma. We'll say that he insisted if he flips out. He's skilled at projecting desperation. People think it's true. And Sandra, he has a debt to us. Without the family, Danielle, he wouldn't have that job. He'll most likely arrive with a pitiful gif, believing it to be important. Quiet. I then held the engagement gift for a brief video. I walked out with it last week and they all forgot. A line appears on screen after the cut to black. When you make someone helpful till he quits being silent, it looks like this. When I looked back, Emma was already crimson, angry, and not ashamed. Her hands trembled like though she was trying to hurl something but was unsure of where to aim. You're really inappropriate. She spat. I was meant to have this day. Yes, it is still. Calmly, I said. Simply put, you are no longer the protagonist. No screenplay had been created for this scene, but Danielle remained motionless with her mouth open as if she wanted to say something. Darren, her fiancé, came forward. Hold on. Surely this isn't true. I took the flash drive out. In case he flips out, ask him about the email she wrote. Emma lunged forward and seized it, too sluggish. Darren took it from me. Examine it for yourself. I'm not here to debate anything. I'm only here to put a stop to it. My mother showed up at that point, similar to clockwork. She trembled in her flawless voice. Please, she said. Come on, let's go outdoors. Let's have a conversation. Before the tears even started to fall, my mascara was already ruined from sobbing when I glanced at her. In my life, for the first time. I owe you nothing, I answered. Not money, not silence. Then my father arrived. He wasn't meant to be present. Engagements, he always claimed, were meaningless festivities. But he was there, as if he had received an emergency alert telling him to quit pretending to be dead. This family is disappointed in you, he said, his teeth clenched. You made your own family feel ashamed. I looked him in the face. For years, you made me feel ashamed. I simply hit the play button. Through the glass, the room split like a crack. A few of the guests rose and departed. Others gazed while holding their phones. At least one was filming, I knew. Excellent. Allow them to demonstrate to the world what happens when you repeatedly corner the quiet person. Danielle made an effort to save it. She got to her feet and held up her hands. All right, perhaps there were misunderstandings, but now is not the moment. Do you own this? I held up the ring box I had previously retrieved as I asked. The $5,000 custom diamond gift was purchased from a man I tutored in college. Do you still have the receipt? Danielle gave a tentative nod. After grinning, I closed it with a snap and put it in my jacket pocket. When I return, you will receive it. I gave his family everything, but that is never the case. Take pleasure in the symbolism. Emma let out a cry. Do you believe that you are the victim? Simply put, you're a resentful freeloader with a superiority complex. Then a voice broke through the clamor. A cool, deep voice. Funny, it said. The only person who has ever paid for anything is him. Everyone pivoted. A man in a black suit was standing at the door. Emma, Carter? Yeah, I called him. Turns out I wasn't the only one she burned. He had his receipts, too. He stepped forward, handed me an envelope, and spoke just loud enough for the nearest dozen guests to hear. These are screenshots. Proof I'm a doctor. Texts and voice memos to make you look abusive. She did the same to me. I submitted a report last year. I never mailed it, but I'm sending it now. Emma fell back like she'd been shot. You're wrecking everything, she yelled. I turned to her, calm as ever. You already did. I'm simply airing out the smoke. Then I walked out. No smashing doors, no overturning tables. Had me and Carter and the hush of everyone understanding they had seen Smith collapse. That was the last time I walked foot in a room with those folks. According to what I've since been told, that was the last time anyone ever again saw Danielle's ideal family in the same light. After a storm, silence is not tranquility. Everyone is only making sure they are still alive. I had more than 130 missed calls on my phone 2 days after the engagement toast burst. Facebook was a battleground. Suddenly, long-lost cousins turned to become moral philosophers. Everyone had to go on a guilt trip and come up with a theory. I was too preoccupied to say exactly what I had wanted to say. In order to exclude me from the festivities, my aunt used the identical words, last-minute guest LLC, which I established as a new business on Monday. I'd compose my own tale and sell tickets in a week if I wasn't meant to be in theirs. I had my first viral video, a YouTube channel, and a website. What occurs if the family's ATM stops working? The second one was more forceful. How to own the room even if you weren't invited. I reached 75,010 subscribers. The comments came pouring in. My tale was told by you. They also did this to me. I had no idea that I needed this. I wasn't yelling, I was constructing. Subsequently, I introduced merchandise, including sweatshirts, mugs, phone covers, and a best-selling black hoodie featuring white writing. I'm happy to be involved with this. And until I read the receipts, there was little red stitching at the hem. In 2 days, it sold out. That, in my opinion, was the finest feature. That wasn't because I didn't anticipate the true twist. Darren, the now ex-fiancé of my cousin Danielle. Late one evening, he sent me a message. Can we have a conversation? Only us. I thought it may be a threat or at the very least a warning. Rather, he appeared in person. No ring. It's not real. Everything he stated was calm, chronological, and surgical, and I verified it. The treachery, the money, the scheme to undermine me won. 2 million people watched the third episode. A week later, though, you must see something else. He pushed play after opening his phone and tapping a cloud folder. Granny surreptitiously caught Emma and Aunt Sandra enjoying wine glasses while seated on a couch. Emma, he's not going to back down. It's for Mom, we'll say. He is considered unstable if he flips. Sandra, that footage from college is still with us, right? The one in which he declared his desire to vanish. Cut it. Give him a suicidal tone. Boom. Not credible. I went cold. Darren cast his gaze downward. Her laptop was open. The video was located in a shared folder. She didn't conceal it at all. I was unable to talk. He gave me a little package after reaching inside his backpack. Inside my purchased engagement ring. She made an effort to hold it. Oh, he said that it was already a present. However, this belongs to an honest person. It's not her either. He didn't occur to me. I simply nodded, knowing what to do next. I saw a real lawyer the next day, not a buddy of a friend. A litigator, someone who was armored and quiet. I explained everything. The money trail, the video, the phony audio, and the faked texts are all there in case he loses it. Conspiracy. We have a case, he remarked after glancing at it. Slander, emotional harm, manipulation of finances. We won't start in court, I said, nodding. We go public first. I thus uploaded a 3-part documentary series on my channel. Surgical, chronological, and calm. The treachery, the money, the scheme to undermine me. 1.2 million people watched the third episode. A week later, I inked a deal with a publisher to write a brief memoir titled how I burned the family myth and built myself from ash. Then this happened. The second was a handwritten note from my mom. No return address, no subject. I was aware of the strategy, the manipulation, and the video. If I didn't take part, I persuaded myself I wasn't involved. Silence, however, is involvement. I feared that they would abandon me as well if you departed. However, even when they didn't see you, you were the only one who consistently appeared. I feel humiliated now. I didn't respond. I changed my last video's outro, but I didn't forgive. A single line on a dark screen. My mom was aware. Silence is a choice as well. I'm sitting at my new workplace today. Not for its job. Not for making content. A real location. I started a mentorship program and co-working space for those who have been cut off from toxic families. The last edition was the name above and below the door, as well as tiny letters, but never again. 3 months. It took them that long to know I would never return. I'm not sorry. No family get-together. No attempt at reconciliation. They had no intention of seeking healing. They waited for me to give in. I didn't. Rather, I grew my brand. A last-minute visitor turned into more than just a channel. It turned into a stage. I started a podcast. When Devotion Turns into Slavery was added in the first episode. In 2 days, it reached Apple's top 10. Then, with a placard that stated, "Here we don't apologize for not going to Thanksgiving," I launched the studio, a glass-fronted co-working facility in Denver. Nevertheless, the texts continued to arrive. Danielle, my cousin, sent me a PDF with her version of events. "Family shouldn't go viral," my Aunt Sandra wrote in the caption of a hazy photo she sent while sobbing. "Emma should be healed." To be honest, she even made a burner TikTok account. One of her clips actually trended for a minute until someone remarked in the comments because she played the victim so convincingly. "Are you the girl who ruined your cousin's reputation by forging direct messages?" It received 14,000 likes. The next day, she deactivated her account. The actual earthquake, however, occurred on a Wednesday. My aide entered as I was getting ready for a guest workshop, pale-faced. "Your father is outside." I blinked. "What? Didn't you come by yourself?" I went outside. My mother and a stranger wearing a dress shirt were standing next to him, dressed in a complete suit. An attorney, PR representative, who knows? As if he owned the area, he approached me directly. "Your point has been made," he stated bluntly. "Now remove it, the videos, the postings, the brand, everything. Why?" He did not recoil. "Because a publisher is negotiating with us." "A book? Narrative of a family. It contains your name." I grinned. It was there, the true motive for his visit. I said, "Let me guess. First chapter. The unappreciative son. Do you find this amusing?" He let out a bark. "A heritage was ruined by you." "No, I made the correction. I just demonstrated to others your true legacy." At that point, he moved in closer and spoke more softly. "We never needed you as much as you needed us. Remember, I actually left this time. I don't have to remember. I used timestamps to record it." He looked at my mother. She was unable to look me in the eye. Then I did what he didn't anticipate. My hand went to my pocket and produced a little metal key. Glistening silver, symbolic. "Do you recall the mountain home you used to show us?" His eyes narrowed. "How about it?" "I purchased the property behind it, 2 acres. Last week, I had a new fence constructed." "Okay?" So I said slowly, "My pass is now the sole way to go to your property. Then it's against the law. It's a private easement, actually. I recently installed the gate, thus I'm within my rights." A code constricted his jaw. "You don't have," I added. They remained still. My mother came forward, voice quivering. "Do you truly want this? To set the entire family on fire?" It was the last time I looked at her. "No." I turned and went back inside because I just wanted to quit acting like the fire was providing warmth. I made one last post the next day. Nor a podcast, nor a video. The Sunday paper ran a full-page advertisement. Indeed, print. Black letters on white, old school. To those who taught me that it was safer to be quiet than to speak the truth. Thank you. I became resilient because of you. I became unrelenting because of you. In your fiction, you turned me into a ghost. I also made it a bestseller. Once the last-minute visitor, he was now the one who secured the door and turned off the lights. I changed my number last week, didn't tell anyone. I went into my office, grabbed a Sharpie, and wrote something on the back of my old business card. In case of an emergency, I attached it to the wall of the break room. Don't give me a call. I'm no longer family. And the last motion? A $10,000 scholarship fund for children who are separated from their families is not something I require. Under a name that now totally belonged to me, but not my true one. Last-minute visitor? Because sometimes the winner of the entire party is the one they nearly forgot to invite.